he continuously will help us prepare to the best of our abilities and will teach us how to perfect our mental approach.
He just has tremendous respect for everyone, no matter where you are, who you are.
I think the number one thing that I've learned from him would be how to deal with adversity, or what we'll call curveballs in the office or in the dugout.
Well, I always had the coaching bug, and even when I was in high school, I coached my younger brother in Little League and Pop Warner football, and I played, of course, in high school, in baseball and football in high school, and in college I played football and I played baseball for 1 year. My goal, I always wanted to be a professional athlete, and it turned out that as I was in college, it was kind of by my success in football, I thought that was the direction to go.
I think that probably any really great coach like Coach G, a lot of his effect actually, believe it or not, comes after these guys graduate. A lot of the things that he professes, they're young, they're college students, they don't necessarily see, but so many of these alum that I've kept in touch with finally get it when they get out and they actually start living lives with getting married and having kids and jobs.
So after I retired from the NFL, and I knew I wanted to be a coach, and for years and years I thought I was going to be a football coach. And then probably that last season I decided that, all right, I'm going to shift gears here, knowing that I wanted to coach. So I decided to get into coaching baseball. And after a year or so, after I retired, I decided to go back to school to get my master's degree at George Mason University. And I spoke with the head coach, who's still there, Billy Brown, and asked him if he needed an assistant. And he welcomed me in and onto the program. So I got my master's degree. I coached at George Mason for 2 years. And at the end of that second year, which we actually made it to the Division I regional tournament, the Sacred Heart job opened up. So our athletic director at George Mason was Jack Cavance, who grew up in Bridgeport and good friends with Dave Bike, who was the athletic director at that time.
Nick was working on his master's at the George Mason University at the time. I knew he was a real good athlete here in Connecticut. He was a little bit after me, so I never crossed paths. But the athletic director at George Mason, by the name of Jack Cavance, was a very good friend of mine, Boston College grad. And I called Nick had applied, and I called Jack about Nick, and he just gave him such a high recommendation. Seeing him work at the baseball team, he knew him as a person more than I did, and I just took, of all the candidates, I gave Nick a shot, and it was one of the best moves I made.
The feel of the school when I arrived was awesome. I mean, the students were all engaging, the professors. It was really a close-knit college. It was a commuter school, and it was very close-knit. And I think that's one of the things that we have brought with us throughout my 29 years here, is that engagement with the students at all levels. It's still small enough where we're able to do that and really pay close personal attention to the students and the student athletes. So that feels good. Now the physical plant is totally different. The programs have expanded. Just the facilities, it's been such a tremendous upgrade in those respects.
Just the way that he taught the mental game. I mean, he is so good at that, and really connecting with the players on teaching them how to have positive thoughts about themselves and how to have positive thoughts for the team, and really addressing that mental side of the game, where some coaches are afraid to even engage in conversation because of the doubt side of it. But addressing that and giving the players tools, giving the coaches tools to use to help the players with the mental approach and their own self-talk. So I mean, it's not really a juicy story, but it's something that I think has given us as a program an edge, and I certainly would want to continue that.
Fall year of junior year of high school, I got a letter in the mail of Sacred Heart Baseball, and I was like, wow,
my first letter in the mail from a college team. This is gonna be cool, this is awesome. Ends up, it was just my ID saying, hey, you left this at Harbor Yard. You know, just, that was my first initial thought of G, just a good guy.
When I first got here, we had 8 sports, and we had success. We had, my second year, third year, and fourth year, we made it to the regionals. My fourth year, we won the regionals, went to the national championship tournament, and then we kind of had to shift gears a little bit and really concentrate on helping build admissions. You know, that was a big part of the growth of athletics and the growth of the university. Went hand in hand. So it was tough, and there was struggles. So our wins and losses our losses went up and our wins went down. However, later in the 90s, when we started go Division I think we started 2000 may have been the first year. That's when they started supporting athletic scholarships a little bit stronger in order to compete at the Division I level. So it was a roller coaster ride, but it still had that same feel throughout that time of really paying attention to the student athletes. And you know, although they didn't have that winning experience on the field for some of us, it was still a great experience for the guys, and still had the great relationships with the professors, and still the tightness with the university, which is something that has been here since day one that I've been here.
When we come out of the restaurant, we're getting in the car, and Nick's not there. I said, where is he? So he came back. He said, where'd you go? He said, well, I went back in the restaurant. He said, why? He says, I found this money, and I wanted to find out if anybody lost it. He found 8 $100 bills in the parking lot, and immediately went back into the restaurant to ask if somebody had lost it. You know, and I just think as a person, it shows you that he cared for others, and he wasn't rich at the time, I don't think, and it just shows what kind of person he is.
2005 was the first time we made it to the conference tournament, and it was a great experience. You know, you know, being in the league that was the 5th year in the conference, and probably our 3rd year that we were eligible to get to the tournament. And then in 2006, we make it to the tournament. We have some experience, and we just had a couple guys on the mound that were tremendous. And we ended up beating Central Connecticut in the final game to win the tournament and go to the regionals. And in that game, we actually beat 2 pitchers, one from Central and one from Wagner, who ended up and are still pitching in the big leagues. So it was a tremendous feat. And our ace, Jay Monty, he had a tremendous season. He ended up playing some professional ball too. So it was just a great experience, and to really put Sacred Heart baseball back on the map after being off for so many years.
The transition from high school to college baseball, I feel like it's always kind of difficult as a freshman. And G just makes it that much easier with the mental side of things, both on and off the field.
He's willing to learn as much as he knows and as much as he's been around, and to think positive and to make the guys relax. I remember one time he had the guys kind of humming before they were hitting or something, you know, just to relax, you know, just to relax. And I always kid with them. I said, Nick, you know, all that stuff helps if the guy can hit. You know, and fortunately for us, he's recruited guys that have hit. He's recruited pitchers, you know what I mean? He's got some good players. He's developed kids that come in and stay with them, and just the baseball story on the whole, just to be in the championships and to do what he's done is just remarkable.
After the 26th season, we kind of stumbled for a couple of years, but then in 2009 we got back into the tournament, and for 2 years in a row we ended up losing in the final game. And then the 2 years after that, we actually ended up winning in the final game. So we had a good run right there and continued it. So we won it in 11 and 12. And then last year, we're in the same situation, and we didn't make, it was the first time we didn't make it to the final in 8 years. But we were 3rd place team.
The kind of guy he is, everyone sort of has the same reaction about him, that he's a super guy. He really has no enemies. Everyone really likes him. So I mean, there's not one pinpointed story, but regardless of who you meet that he's connected with, could be years ago, could be recently, all get that same effect. They understand what a genuine person means.
The first regional we won, which when we were Division II, back in 1992, after just losing in the regionals in 90 and 91, and then winning it in 92 with pretty much my first recruited class, as they were seniors, juniors and seniors, was very special, going to a national championship. And then you can just count all the times that we've been to the regionals in Division I. You know, have all been special, and the guy and the players. So this year has been a blast. The last 8 years have been a blast with the quality of the student athletes, and not just this last 8 years. Even when we were struggling, I got to tell you, in the 90s, you know, there was always some great guys, hard-working guys. You know, and just we didn't have enough to really compete with the top guys in the conference. But the guys always played hard, and I'm proud of every team that I coached there.
From improving our skills on the baseball field to teaching us to be men. I think one of Coach G's best attributes is the fact that no matter the situation, we're ready for whatever is going to come at us.
He is one of the best people I know. He's just a quality person. I have the utmost respect to him as an individual. He's a man for all seasons, truly a role model for college kids. That he's just a well-rounded, good person. But he's just, his accomplishment as a coach and what he did with the baseball program is just fantastic. And so I've been around athletics all my life. I met a lot of people. There's nobody I respect more as a person, as a coach, than Nick Giaquinto.